Hey guys, quick update. Been blasting, so that's why there were no videos up until now. But anyway, Elemental Sundering tag doesn't work. For some reason, it just won't even count the minion. Not even the animation comes out, so had to scrap that. Leveled with crossbows. It was pretty good. Crossbows are very strong. Leveled on Deadeye, and now I am playing Pathfinder. Um, it's a very similar build to what I had last league with the Coming Calamity. Basically the same thing, except this time I'm using Leopold's gloves instead of painters. Eventually it is better to switch to painters though, and go for Trinity again. And use the new Rakiata Sport Gym. Because this way you don't need to invest into any penetration, and you just put this on your primary skill, and probably the mapping skill as well, and you're good. But as it is right now, you know, these are pretty expensive for divine, so you can't do that now. For now, I'm using Leopold. Leopold is also very, very strong, so these, when I bought them, were 2 divines. Now they're 40 chaos, so, you know, just grab them. I guess my weapon isn't the best. It's all tier 3 mods or worse, so the damage can still go way up, right? But I guess I'll show you how it goes. But if you've seen my previous video, it's basically the same thing. Let's see if we can find something with the boss. I don't really want the augury. Crimson Shores. Sure, let's do this one. There's a lot of stuff in here. 6 mod map. Gonna be a little bit iffy, but hopefully we can clear it. Yeah, the abyss is, you know, well, it's abyss. Also, I'm having a lot of lags this league. The abyss especially. But anyway, so with this build, you know, you just walk and shoot as it was last time. The difference is that since we're not tri-elemental, we only have Herald of Thunder to help us clear, which is fine. It still helps quite a bit. As you can see, the mobs they die pretty fast. Against single targets, I am using my main skill. You can also drop the bell. And for my, because I didn't want to go hybrid this time, but eventually you can probably just switch to Ice Strike again. But I did want to try out Tempest Flurry because it got buffed. It now has 100 increased shock magnitude, and I reach 100% shock with barely any shock investment. I think I have like 5 nodes and 2 jewels. Well, out of those 5 nodes, only 3 I think contribute to shock magnitude. So, you know, you can reach 100 shock magnitude pretty well. I'll show you on the boss. When we're killing mobs, we don't shock for 100%, because, well, you need the voltaic mark to reach the 100. But as you know, it's clearing still fine. And also, you can consume the shock with Siphoning Strike to get the charge staff buff. But once you have enough damage, you don't really need it. But I did opt for Siphoning Strike because I can generate power charges against bosses pretty easily, and I wanted to keep my spirit for other things, such as Wind Dancer, and there's also cannibalism in there. So it's a little bit become the nightmare. Nice. Now we can go ham. So mapping is a little bit better because against bosses we don't have freeze, so you know, you kind of have to rely on your dodging, I guess, when it comes to bosses. But the damage is fine. Of course, you know, right now I am still, well, I cleared the tier 1 Zesht, I cleared Simulacrum, but we'll see how it goes further. Sadly, I don't really want to do the whole abyss. It takes a while, and I just want to show you the boss, so I'm just gonna skip it for now. But as you can see, you know, we're clearing mobs as long as you're playing with your eyes open, you know, and you dodge every once in a while when you see like a ground effect, you know, on you. You're gonna be fine. Oh, Arcane Strongbox. I should probably do that later. Well, I will. but I need to grab some crafting materials, some currency. Nice. Alright, now we can go do the boss. I think the boss should be here. Yep. So right now, and I think all the way up until like you get, yeah, this is not the boss like this. Until you get, until you are able to switch to painters, just use the curse. Cause, so basically you use the curse, use your voltaic mark, you pop the bell, and then you hit him. And then you can consume the shock as well with the siphoning strike, right? And then you enable your charge staff, because charge staff also has us a lot of damage, because Tempest Flurry hits so many times. So that's sort of why I opted out to using siphoning strike, because I don't need to. Well, I mean, you can generate power charges other ways, but it just costs spirit, and I'm already at 135. And other than that, you know, I would need a body armor with spirit, which I don't really want to do because I want more evasion rating. Especially now that evasion is a little bit, well, good, better or worse, that's I guess up to you to decide. I don't particularly enjoy, especially since deflection is too hard to cap. I got 2 items with deflection. I got a little bit on the tree as well, and it's only 40%. I don't know, it's a little bit low. But anyway, so let's go over the skills. So for Stormwave, you can use Calm's Madness. It's a new one. It's very cheap. It's a couple of exalts. It shoots out 4 fissures instead of 3, as you would with the normal support gem. The downside of having 30% less area of effect. Essentially, it's the same thing. I guess it's up to your preference. I'm using this because with charge staff being in the middle, if I ever get to use it, if I ever feel like using it, you know, it's sort of. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. It doesn't really matter. Attack speed, so it's smoother. Ambush and pinpoint, get both of these. They're sort of mandatory. And elemental armament. Because, well, we want, because our crits are huge. If we crit, we just basically kill the mobs. And right now, 34 plus I have a little bit more from this notable against full enemies, 50%, so I think I'm at about 40% crit chance when just hitting a new target, right? So I'm at 80 with ambush, so you still need a little bit more, but my staff doesn't have anything. You can still get there, and there's also a bunch of nodes that I'm gonna be taking over here. I think I'm gonna go for the crit hit chance just so I can have a little bit more, although technically these are more DPS. But anyway, so make sure you get these two. For Tempest Flurry, rapid attacks, Crescendo 2 specifically. The third one is not as good because it reduces like overall damage, and Final Strike is very strong. Although technically, if you wanna just make use of Charge Staff as your primary skill, but then you would need to change the build around a little bit, but you could actually do that with Tempest Flurry. Although I wish there would be a support that would make you not use Final Strikes. That would be pretty cool. Then you could do a charge step build. But anyway, with Crescendo, you know, our final hit is very strong. It hits like a truck when it crits. Lightning Attunement, Elemental Armor, Close Combat. Last one is sort of just pick and choose whatever you want, whatever you find. This one is fine. I didn't really find anything else that was too crazy. You could potentially also go for a Pinpoint, but I don't know if it's really worth it. Probably just go with these. For Voltaic Mark, prolonged duration, because we're only using it against bosses. If you wanna do cast and crit with ritual, so your mapping is a little bit smoother, right? So you get power charges while mapping and doing nothing, right? You can do that as well. Then you wouldn't need this obviously, but anyway, Lightning Mastery, just I don't know, I just put it in there. And efficiency. So it costs less. Not that we really have any issues with mana, but still. Against tankier bosses later on, there will be a little bit of an issue, but for now it's good. Heightened Curse and Elemental Weakness, so I think I'm at like 36, I can't remember, like minus 36 resistances, and then I have 60 something, 62 I think, from the tree, so I'm going down to about minus 46 or something like that at no resistances, so we're close to being capped on here. Make sure that you get, you know, as close as possible, because this is technically just a more damage multiplier, right? And charge staff, I have prolonged duration, perpetual charge, probably not mandatory, but you know, it's nice when it procs. Elemental focus and lightning attunement. Tempest bell, I have rage on here, it's pretty good. We proc it real fast with our Tempest Flurry anyway, because we hit the bell pretty fast. Our abundance, we attack very fast as well, and we can place 2 bells. I just forget sometimes. Close combat, durability, Herald of Thunder, so this helps us a lot, so that's sort of why I opted into just going for these two. I wanted a better mapping experience, while just, you know, pressing additional button for the bossing seemed like a pretty good trade-off, for a little bit of extra damage as well. So elemental focus, elemental armament. Oh, I forgot to upgrade this one. Concentrated area, execute, because generally if we don't kill the mob, it is probably on low health, so this just helps finish it off. And long shot, because you know, they generally tend to, like the lightning bolts tend to be much further from you. Wind Dancer, so for Wind Dancer, make sure you get cannibalism. It helps with the clear a lot. That's sort of another reason why I wanted to. I mean, of course, you can have 2 gems, because I have 1 gem, 1 jewel on my tree for life on kill, but otherwise you would need 2, because with just 1 it doesn't feel that great. With 2 it's pretty good. I have clarity in here. This helps against bosses. Knockback is just in case you get swarmed, so you did not get knocked back a little bit further. Wind Dancer is well solid for mapping. I highly recommend it, instead of cast and crit ritual, but you know, it's up to you. Vitality, just so it helps a little bit against like dots and stuff, but it costs 40 spirit, so if you don't have an amulet with spirit, just don't use this one. And for siphoning strike, charge perfusion, inevitable critical, because I barely use it, so when I use it, you know, it's nice if it crits. Innervate, if I ever want to use it in maps, I sometimes do, but like I said, it's not mandatory. But I added Innervate in here. Alternatively, you can add Innervate into Stormwave. Instead of this, it would essentially be the same thing. And Magnified Area. The nice thing about Siphoning Strike is that if there's like 2 mobs in one place, and you use Siphoning Strike on a mob that's shocked, and the other mob is also shocked, you can actually generate 2 charges, or even 3. So there you go. These are the skills for the passive tree. Go here for the move speed. These are very solid nodes. Gives us penetration, which is what we need if we're using Leopold. Here I went for crit damage bonus. Early on you could potentially go with crit hit chance, but you know, once you're getting into like above 50%, crit damage nodes are just much better. Well, technically, I don't know, just crit damage is just generally stronger. Catalysis, pretty good. Oh, for the jewel, so you know, get 1 mana on kill is pretty good for mapping. And other than that, you know, crit damage bonus, a little bit of shock magnitude I have over here. You don't really need much to get to 100, but I think you need a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, play around, see how much you need. And like I said, another max life on kill. I do highly recommend max life on kill. And but as you can see, you know, the jewels are just not that great. You can obviously get better jewels. Maiming Strike, pretty solid value nodes. Acceleration, because it gives move speed, right? Then I have Inherited as well, so it feels a little bit better. They added more nodes for movement over here. Initially I was playing with them, but there's not that big of a difference. I mean, you do feel it, but it's like 10% total. you're about 10% faster if you grab like all of these. So, you know, I just opted out into going there because there's a lot of good nodes that we want. Switch the pathing a little bit up. I think this is better. Coming Calamity, pretty good for, you know, good value. Obviously, we're going for the B-Shield skins, very solid. Enhanced reflexes. Also, we're going for this, for the deflection, but, you know, like the deflection, I don't know. I think it needs to be buffed. It's too unreliable. Might as well just go armor evasion at this point, you know. Although this does work against everything. And these, as per usual, are very solid nodes, so, you know, grab these. A time loss jewel in here, especially since we can make use of all of these, because these nodes are primarily for bossing. For mapping, they don't do much, because, you know, all of these are like chance based. Like I have 25%, I think, chance 2 days. 10, 10, and 5. Yeah, I have 25% chance today, so, you know, against mobs it doesn't always work, but against bosses you're going to be proccing the days all the time. And these are also very huge value nodes. This wheel is insane. Almost as good as, you know, the low life wheel if you have the helmet. Because I get 55% increased damage, and I also get 55% increased crit chance, and then time loss jewel gives us a lot of stuff. I think in total from here I get like over 20 lightning pen and 10 attack speed. So, you know, grab a time loss jewel and slot it in here. It doesn't have to be large. Medium is fine as well, but you do get a bunch of these nodes if you know you're for the lightning penetration, so it's pretty solid as well. These nodes help us to map against full life enemies. You know, just makes us kill them, you know, instantly. A little bit of lightning pen. Initially I had these, but I was overcapped. You don't need these. Just grab these instead. Yeah, like these nodes, like they give a lot of shock magnet, so just grab these. And we're using lightning skills, so these are pretty good. Some chance to shock, so it helps our Herald of Thunder, right? Crit nodes, just solid crit nodes. This one is always better than the bottom one. Just grab the top one. And we also have blind. Again, I invested a little bit into blind as well, for bossing, of course. Since now evasion procs against everything, blind is very strong, and we have 50% increased blind effect, so that's 30% evasion. Well, accuracy loss for bosses, and we also get 50, 65, 80 crit chance against blinded enemies. So when the enemy is blinded, dazed, you know, we get like plus 130 something crit chance, so it's pretty solid. There's a lot of good new nodes in this area, at the very least. I mean, there's good nodes all around, right? Right now I'm also gonna grab these. I want the dex, and ideally this as well, because when you're gonna switch the staff later on, you're not gonna have the stun build. The stun right now is actually pretty nice, so I don't mind getting more stun. I'm surprised that I actually stun that often, well, as often as I do. But, you know, getting like all of these nodes is level 99, so probably gonna have to drop something, but grab all of these. They're solid nodes. Potentially the crit nodes as well, if you can, you know, move some points from somewhere, you know, compensate elsewhere. Maybe get rid of these actually. I'd rather lose 2% crit chance than 25% defenses. Maybe. Not sure. I don't know. Think about it, you know, do what you will. For the items, Leopold, that's basically the only requirement. Other than that, it's just, you know, staff with fizz, get evasion, get life, cap resistances. If you can, get some flat. If you can't, that's, you know, fine too. Later on, potentially switch to ingenuity, but, you know, it's a little bit hard. Now that we're using a suffix for deflection, it's a little bit hard to cap resistances, so I don't know. Potentially just drop deflection at all. It's not very not very good. I don't think. I don't know. I think it needs a buff. But yeah, that is it. And I'll be blasting. Oh, for the ascendancy, right. The ascendancy. So we're playing Pathfinder, obviously, because it's the best ascendancy and the only ascendancy where you can have fun. Movement speed penalty, very nice. So basically, you're also unaffected by slows, and you attack faster with your skills that you can attack while moving. And immunity freeze, I grabbed this, so we saved a charm slot, so you can slot in like bleed or stun, although stun doesn't actually work against the hit that stunned you, but it does prevent subsequent stuns. And this thing is actually very solid now that it got buffed. I'm getting about 40% damage reduction. Elemental damage reduction. So right now pretty much the only thing that hurts are physical hits, which is true. Physical hits are the things that generally tend to kill me. But yeah, that is it for today. The longer video, so lots of yapping, but wanted to cover everything in case any of you actually ever listen to me. So there you have it. Anyway, that is it for today, and I'll see you in the next one at some point. Bye bye.